Hey, how's it going? I'm Walid Shaya.
I'm Kavita Raj.
And this is Lights,
Camera,
and Conversation. Cheers, bestie.
Bestie, conversation with you is something we do on and off camera all the time.
Yes, that's absolutely true. I love it both on and off camera. And let me tell you, I can't believe that since basically July, we've brought a new episode every week to our listeners or viewers on YouTube.
Yes.
And today is the finale of season 2, episode 20.
Yes.
And we have a very special topic in store.
This is incredible, guys. 2 seasons.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible 2024 as well, with all your love and support. So.
Yes. So I thought it was appropriate, as did you, for today's episode to be about goal setting for artists and New Year resolutions.
Yes.
Why wait for January to hit?
Absolutely.
Let's start to reflect now in December on our last year.
Yes.
And let's start to create a plan and strategy. So when January does hit, we have tangible action items to try and to hold ourselves accountable.
Yes, absolutely. I think it is normal and natural to introspect on the year. I think December is one of those times that you automatically tend to, because of, kind of work slowing down for most people, people taken off and going to be with family, on trips or whatever. It's a good time of year to, as you said, think about the last year. And remember that every day is a new beginning, and start with positivity.
Yes,
as
exactly.
You continue on.
Yes. So I'll start with myself because I can speak from example.
Yeah.
For me, what I love to begin with at the end of the year is a gratitude list. It's the easiest way I found to find what am I thankful for, who am I thankful for, because those are the people and those are the things I want more of next year, all right? And some are basics. Some are like good health. Some are like clear communication and trust with my friendships. Some are personal growth. And then others are absolutely related to, my career. It might be continuing to maintain a personal relationship with my agent. It might be continuing to make sure I'm self-submitting for acting roles every day, in addition to what my agent's also sending me out for. It might be figuring out what acting classes I've really enjoyed and getting back into class with those specific teachers that really brought out the best in me.
Yeah, and
just for some examples.
Yeah, and that is something that you are doing for yourself, right? You are investing in yourself. You are taking care of yourself. When you're like, I want to take these classes. I've always aspired to take a class with so-and-so or do this. That is you reinvesting in your own personal journey. And I think that is a great goal to have. And I think that is something that we often forget to put on our list to do. And that is such a tactical step to take. And, you're
Your
aware
gratitude
of that.
list. The gratitude list's the best. And I mean, I highly suggest everyone goes through their gratitude list every night. You know, in your head before bed, to just go to sleep on the right side of the bed, thinking of what you're grateful for and waking up, manifesting more of that. Gratitude gets more gratitude. Where energy
100%.
goes, energy flows, right?
Yes. And sometimes we forget that.
Absolutely.
Sometimes,
life smacks you in the face sometimes.
Sometimes we forget that. And I have had a year, this is going to be the most unique year for me. I lost my mom this year, and this was, my first major personal loss that was really shocking, and it really hit me in the middle of the year in May. So I have been coping with it and dealing with it. Grief comes in waves. So to share with our viewers and listeners, a bit of that was, it was a tough year in that regard.
Absolutely.
It was also the same year that my younger daughter made a global girl group, and it was the high of that journey as well. So it has been a roller coaster of an emotional year, to say the least. So December is going to be a reflective time for me. I'm going to have some up days. I'm definitely going to have some down days too, and that's okay. And that's okay to have those. I think what I need to remember is gratitude.
Yes.
And I'm very blessed and lucky that my father is visiting and he's with me.
What a sweet man.
He is one of the most grateful people that I have ever come
Always
across
has
in
a
my
smile.
life. so positive
So
and
kind.
optimistic. And when I was feeling a bit down during Thanksgiving, that I had this loss, and it was kind of, I took a moment to be like, I'm thankful for so much, but I'm also sad that I lost my mom. He
Absolutely.
said, if you put a little twist on it and try and think of the fact that you had 48 years with her, there are people that don't have that much with their mom. There are people that may have a lot lesser. So it is
My
so
heart.
important to remember that you had that much time with her. So I was just like, oh my God, that is such a basic, simple, remembrance that one would think everyone should know, but you forget. Because, when
Yeah,
you're in that moment, you
right.
forget. So,
It's like that hard hitting question. Would you rather experience love, but it results in heartbreak, or would you
yes.
rather not love at all?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And I'm
It's
an
better to have loved
artist.
to
I'm like a
last.
bohemian. I'm like all about love. I'd rather experience love, however long, it is. Love is the answer. Love will set us free. Love will bring us together. Love
Yeah.
will unite us and lead with love, right? And I think that's part of gratitude too. So that's for me. That's my approach. My
Wow.
approach is the
I'm so
gratitude
inspired
approach.
every time I see you in action, leading your life that way, which is
I
you're
love you.
authentic to
Thank
what you
you.
say you want to do, You reflect that on
And
people.
listen, it's not
I know,
easy. Okay,
gosh, it's not.
people
We all
see
know.
me, my friends see me, strangers see me, and they're like, "Oh, you've been doing a lot. You've had a busy year. What's been going on? How do you do it?" And let me tell you, I have just like other people days where I don't want to do anything.
Yes.
Days where, dare I say, are my bad days. I
Yes.
realize that I'm human,
Yeah.
and on those days, I give myself that break, and I'm graceful with myself. Now, it's different when it becomes a routine and I want out, and that's a different set of questions you want to ask yourself. But if this is our business, our artistry, we want to also be mindful that businesses take breaks. Businesses have business hours. There's a time and place for everything,
Yeah.
and you come first.
Oh my God, so well said. And I think as an entrepreneur, that's a very good point to remember is that if you don't give yourself that pause and give yourself that evening, it is very, it's just not good for your physical and mental health. It's important to
Right.
remember that. And it can wait. An email response can indeed wait a few hours. We
Yes,
don't want to do this because we're living in a time when we
it's
are,
all in the now.
oh my gosh, we
I
like
needed it
respond
yesterday.
immediately. Yeah. But it's okay to do that, and you're going to be fine when you
Yes.
respond tomorrow.
Absolutely. So tell me, Kavita, what is maybe one of your approaches to preparing for a new year?
Yeah. This reflection that I often go through in December, I've noticed I have a pattern. And it took me a few years to realize that, oh, this is something that I tend to do. I tend to enjoy myself in December. I tend to want to meet family and friends, but I also find myself having quiet moments. And I reflect on the year. I think about the things that I was very happy with and the things that I could have kind of approached differently. And I keep it as an important resolution to take myself lightly each year. I try to remember that, there is so much joy in humor. There is so much joy in taking yourself lightly. And it's important to do that. You do your work. You take care of your health seriously. You take care of your business seriously. You do all of that with conviction. And then there are moments when you just have to be like, you know what? It's okay. It's just not that serious. It's just
Right.
not that deep, as my kids would say.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, and I think at the end of the night, that's important to remember for us as artists. There might be things on the line that are important. There might be a budget you're dealing with, a time crunch, but we're not saving lives. We're not doing heart surgery or rocket
I
science.
agree.
And so, again, be graceful with yourself.
Oh my God, that's so well said. And be graceful with yourself, be graceful with your loved ones. Forgiveness is such an important thing that I've kind of seen people this year be like so, kind of strong about how they felt about things. And forgiveness is something that you don't really do necessarily for the other person. You do forgiveness for yourself.
Yes.
And it makes you lighter, it makes you more at peace. So these are all things that I'm saying on this show. These are all a work in progress within me personally.
Yeah.
I manifest this for myself. So I'm saying
Absolutely.
this out loud so that I can hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
When I see the episode, I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, I said
Yes.
this, so I've got to do this. So it's a work in progress. It's not something that I'm currently doing.
No, I totally get it. So there are a couple of books I'd love to suggest to fellow
Yeah.
entrepreneurs and artists that might want a little bit more of a, written ABC manuscript or guidebook to help them achieve their goals. There's one called An Artist's Way. Okay. There's also Big Magic. There's The Secret. And then there's also the Four Agreements.
Yes,
And I found
we've
all
loved
of
that book.
those to be good for mindset and also for artistry. Artist's Way, definitely for artistry. The rest are a bit more mindset. And then don't forget, one of the biggest things you could do when you're goal setting, especially if you want to make sure to create specific goals, is to run your goals by someone you trust. Your acting coach, your agent, your manager. I tell artists this. You should be communicating with your agent what your goals are for the next year. Send them a bullet list of 3 to 5 goals, before the new year, even on what you'd like to accomplish, and see if they have ideas, right?
Yeah.
Now, the reason I say share these with a professional is because they can help you solidify them. They can help you figure out tangible action items to get to those goals.
Yep.
Sometimes I work with actors and they say, first goal, I want to book a lead in a film. Well, you don't have a demo reel yet. You
Yeah.
haven't taken a class before. Maybe you've only done commercials. Perhaps you're, not accessible to Los Angeles or New York yet. There might be other things in the way before you can book the film.
Yep.
So backtrack a bit and get a little bit more specific. Make the goals, I don't want to use the word smaller, but make them more direct in a linear fashion.
Tighter.
What can you achieve in a month? What can you achieve in a season? And then from there, that builds. And the overall goal to follow you taking classes, getting your portfolio together, connecting with the right people will lead into booking a lead in a film, right?
Right.
So it's really refining your goals so that they're specific, so that they are action items that you can actually take. They're not just generic or vague, like I want to act more. I want to be in more film and TV. Well, what's that mean? Maybe the goal is instead, I want to make sure I'm self-submitting for roles
Right.
every day.
Right.
I want to have a better relationship with my agent or manager. Perhaps you need to find an agent or manager. So the goal is to really, see the big picture, and that might be an ultimate goal, but what are smaller goals underneath that
Yep.
that can lead you to it? And I think that's where the magic happens, and it's a little bit easier.
Right.
Quotes on the easier. There's
Right.
always going to be challenges, but to obtain those sub goals per se.
Right, and the tactics, the steps are so important to be like, those are as you said, the magical little moments that are going to lead to that big aha moment, right? I love one family tradition that we've been now having for, I want to say like 7 or 8 years, is we meet up as a family either on New Year's Eve or on January 1st, and we all meet at the table with our goals for the year written down. And the goals, we hold each other accountable because those goals, as you said, have to be realistic. We are very much about like, yes, you can have like fun goals there, but then kind of have that sub points of how are you going to get there kind of thing, right? And sometimes goals are just basic and important. Like for me, sometimes the goal is I just want to be mindful to eat healthier every day. I want to
Yes.
be mindful to exercise more. It is easy to get caught up in our jobs. It is very easy to sit
There's
in front of the
always
computer.
work to do.
There is always things that you could do better. And then you feel guilty if you haven't done it because you're like, we're in such a culture of doing things nonstop that it's easy to do that. It's important to be like, you know what, everything can wait. I'm going to just spend this 30, 45 minutes taking care of myself. And that was
Absolutely.
actually a goal of mine last year.
How'd you
And
do?
I did okay. I
Okay.
think up until Thanksgiving, I was actually good.
Okay.
But I do have to say that I kind of slipped since then. And I just get caught up with like the guilt of, oh my God, if I send those 2 more emails, I might be getting a response faster. And I might be able to close that goal or that thing I need to do.
Right.
And I didn't end up, say, working out or eating that day. And did it help me that day, no, it didn't make me feel better. No, it didn't. So you kind of win some and you lose some. So you have to, it's such a personal thing. I'm just talking about my
Yeah,
personal
of course.
situation, but it's also personal for each person. You have to like kind of figure that out. So as you can see, I'm like
Yeah.
working in my head as
Of
we're
course, the
talking.
gears are turning, and it's such a great topic because it's that time of year, and I know a lot of people's gears are turning. You hear this joke all the time: January 1st, gyms are
Oh yeah, yeah,
overpopulated.
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
find a
Oh,
treadmill.
I'm that
You
person.
can't find an elliptical.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then by like week 2 of January, it's back to
Oh
normal.
yeah.
I don't want me or you to be that person. We're
No,
gonna
yeah.
push, and we're gonna have a great year.
We are. Absolutely.
I do want to share something that I've said to young entrepreneurs, whether they're artists or in any business, really. I think it applies, and it has exactly what to do with what you just said. Do I send those extra 2 emails? Can I fit in a little bit more time doing work? Sacrificing something that might be personal to you in order to do more work. Because the reality is, as an entrepreneur, there's always going to be work to do, especially if you're starting a small business. And actors, artists, don't forget, you are a small business yourself,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Your marketing, your branding, your artistry, your networking, your mailing list, your
100%, yeah.
Rolodex of contacts, all
entrepreneur.
of it. You're an entrepreneur. And there's always going to be work to do. There's always going to be room for improvement. It's important to know, again, what are my business hours? When do I unplug? This is the family friends me. This is the business me. Where do they collide? Because they do. We've talked about personal and professional relationships in past episodes. And with that said, there's a time and place for both.
Yeah. Learning to prioritize was a life trajectory, like a growth, a work in progress for me. I, over the course of time, have become better at prioritizing, whether it comes to prioritizing people in my life, work that needs to get done, things I need to do. Everything has been better over the years. So definitely, I'm a bit proud of myself for doing that in a much more efficient fashion than I did, say, 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
those family moments of sharing the goals on, like I said, the end of the year, December 31st or Jan 1st, has been fabulous. And very proud of the way, some of the more organized people in my family, like the other three, have been about their goals. Realistic goals, I think they've all met those goals, many of those goals. And I will continue. It's not going to stop me from making that list again this
course.
year. And I'm going to do it well because I do believe in the freshness of the new year. For me, yes, it's another day. I know that. I could do it tomorrow. But hey,
Right.
I'm going to do it on Jan 1st. And the
Yeah.
reason is it's a fresh new year. And it's just something that motivates me to be like, okay, I'm going to do it on that day. And it gives me something very exciting to look forward to.
But beyond that family touch, I think it's so important that you have an inner circle of artists with similar interests,
yeah.
of coaches, of people you look up to that are holding you accountable, that are expecting you to do your best.
Absolutely. And I loved what you said, that when you said, as you're setting those goals, run it by a professional. Right? And that could be a professional, it could be a family, it could be a friend, your trusted circle, right? Have somebody that you can lean on for these questions. We run things by each other all
the
the
time.
time, right? We're always like talking about, things that are like, hey, I'm going through this and I really know I need to change this. So
Right.
what do you think? Like that, when you run something, say, let's say by your agent, that goal, they will also hold you accountable in 3 months. They may be like, hey, you did say you were going to do this by March. And you know what you need to do for that is that you need to take those 4 extra classes, or you need to, you want this particular audition, you need to
Film that demo reel.
film that demo reel. Yeah, you need to have these example videos, whatever that is, right? So they hold you accountable. So it is a gift. That accountability is really, it's annoying at times, but it's a gift.
It's a gift, yeah, and I think it's important. And it's not to add edge and pressure, but it's to move you forward.
Yeah,
and I
and-
think some people get stressed about it, but
Yeah.
I love this quote. I'll tell you this quote. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so, if someone's holding you accountable, take that tough love and be grateful for it.
Yeah.
And everyone should have an accountability circle, even if it's within your own household or your own, group of friends.
Absolutely. And know yourself. Take that December time to reflect and introspect and we're all lucky that we have these opportunities. I count my blessings every day, and just got to work on my patience. I just want everything to happen like right now.
Yes.
And I am like, wow, that is something that I just have not like really, wow, patience is truly a virtue. So I say that with like great admiration when I see patient people.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So, what can we do apart from setting these goals and having a positive mindset? The new year hits. Let's say we're not achieving the goals. Like you had given an example, your agent's like, hey, you mentioned this before. What happened? What's a good approach to get back on track?
Two things, right? Of course, you revisit that goal. It is okay when you revisit the goal to make sure that is still a goal. We're all changing, we're evolving as humans. Something that you thought was a goal in December may not be the same goal in the same form and format in May. So we revisit it. If it's in May still a goal, I think that checking in with yourself is important. It's okay to hold yourself accountable secretly, to be like going into the bathroom like, you kind of said you wanted this, so let's kind of figure out how to do this. Let's
Looking
have
at
that
yourself in
conversation
the
with
mirror
yourself
and
first,
having that
right?
convo. Yeah.
I have become comfortable with talking to myself because when I lost my mother in May, I told the family in June that you're going to find me talking to myself a lot. Don't think anything's wrong. I'm okay. I'm talking to her. I'm talking to her. I'm having a conversation with her because it's like a physical manifestation of that conversation for me. So I feel like she's there. I'm visualizing her. I'm talking to her. It's mostly always like asking her for things, but I'm asking her for guidance on things and I'm doing them. So meaning it's okay to talk to yourself and be like, okay,
It's
what are we
okay to
doing
check
here?
in with
What
yourself
are we
and have
doing
a
here? Let's
reality
like figure
check.
this
Yeah.
out, right? And whatever way you want to do that. So.
Yes. So, from listening to that advice, to me, it really sounds like taking the time to just really unplug and listen to yourself and to really look at what you've done, not just reflecting in December, but perhaps a couple times throughout the year is important to make sure these goals are met.
Yeah, and you said this first, right? Breaking up the goal into tasks. So if in May we're looking at something that we had and we still want it, then okay, this is the goal. Looks like it's going to happen later in the year, not right now. But in order for me to accomplish step one, I need to do this first task. And then I need to do this other task. I need to reach out to this person. Okay, I haven't connected with them in 6 months. Let me reach out to them. Asking for help may be one piece of that goal, right? Researching may be a piece of that goal. Taking those mini steps before it, driving somewhere far to review something may be part of the goal. So taking those little baby steps towards it will make us feel accomplished by the end of the day. And then maybe 8 days of feeling good about accomplishing those minuscule tasks will lead us towards that goal. So
Absolutely. When you set these goals, as an artist, as an entrepreneur, I think it's just as important to make sure, looking at the goals, you have the means to get to them, right? Not just in setting sub goals like we just discussed, but literally, do you have the team? Do you have the tools, right? So that'll break it down even more. Because, imagine being a carpenter without a saw, right? So it's really looking at what's in your arsenal, what's in your physical ability. If you want to be a singer, maybe you need a little bit more voice lessons. Perhaps you've got that and it's time to drop that demo,
absolutely.
right?
And what do you need to do to get those voice lessons? Is it physical? Is it financial? Is it mental? Is it emotional? Which piece of it needs to be filled for you to get that voice lesson? Okay, then how do we make that happen?
Right. So surrounding yourself with the right team, with the right tools, and that'll get you onto the right trajectory. The 3 T's.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've seen that actually worked, it's a tiny little tip that worked, is paying things forward with people in relationships, right? It could be something really small. It could be like a coffee for a friend. It could be like 1 hour of listening to their problem and then giving them some just suggestions on like, hey, I've been through this and this is what happened. This will happen if you go this way. This could happen if you go this way. It's up to you what you do. But I think different things, paying it forward, whatever that person may need, goes a long way. People remember it, and people do come back. It won't be right then, it'll be much later. And maybe not even be that person, but somehow the universe has a way of somebody else coming around to you. So I kind of tend to get philosophical too in December, sorry.
Yes,
So I
no,
tend
it's
to get
great.
like a little bit philosophical. I tend to get a little bit like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
the love
no,
there.
paying it forward so important. To piggyback off that, I always suggest to my actors, especially during the holidays, what a great time and opportunity to connect with casting,
Yes,
to
yes.
connect with directors you've met before, to connect with producers or writers. How? By sending an email that says
Yeah,
Happy Holidays, as simple as
absolutely.
that. By sending a postcard with a
Right.
holiday pic, by simply wishing them a happy holiday and not
Absolutely.
wanting anything in return, just
Yes.
to get on their radar. Hey, I'm thinking of you,
Yeah.
paying it forward by saying thank you for providing the relationship we've had for
Yeah.
this past amount of time, and happy holidays, and
Yeah.
don't expect anything
Of
back.
course.
What's great about that is the new year will hit, and when it's time to reach out to these people for something that is work related, you now have, done something on your end that's not just you asking for help. That's not just
100%.
you asking
Yeah.
them for something. It's a personal,
Absolutely.
touch and relationship. And now you can go forward and see what you need from them next, knowing that you've made that connection during the holidays.
I love that. I love that. And wasn't it Shelley that said, one of our guests, right,
Yeah.
in one of our previous podcasts, that said that make that giving it forward authentic.
Yes.
Make that networking moment authentic. Make it genuine. So if you are naturally someone that would like write a note for friends, send a card, invite someone over for dinner, make a coffee for someone, take them out somewhere. If those are things that you do naturally, talk to them or listen to something that they're going through.
Yeah.
If these are skills that you have, a gift that you have naturally, give that forward.
Right.
With limited expectation.
Yes.
And if it doesn't happen right then and there, it doesn't matter. In a barter situation, when you don't have like the necessary, hard cash to like pay someone for something, the barter situation we talked about is
Yeah.
such a great way in the artistic world to collaborate with people,
Right.
professionally. The barter situation isn't necessarily then and there. It's not like, today I am taking you for coffee, therefore today you shall write a song for me. It's not going to happen like
Right.
that. You can pay it forward. They will remember. And if they don't, someone else will notice it and it will come your way because that's just the way it happens. And then
Yeah.
make that authentic and genuine.
Like karma, what goes around comes
Yeah.
around. We said it
And
earlier.
do it genuinely, like you said, with
Right.
little to no expectation, and you'll see how that just works. Staying positive and
Right.
having that good energy is the best.
Yes.
It has kind of its benefits.
Absolutely. So I hope to all our listeners, to all
Yes.
our viewers, that you take some of these goals into
Yes.
account, that this advice has helped you shape those goals
Yep.
and the mindset, of course. And let us know what some of your goals are for the new year.
Yes, please drop your goals, and we may take some of them and add them to ours.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, please do share. Yes.
Yes. And with that, it's time for our pop culture moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, you know what we're talking about today. It's one of the juiciest books, New York Times bestseller,
Yes.
that's been out now for about a month or so.
Speaking of reflection.
Yes, speaking of reflection, and it's Britney Spears' book, The Woman in Me.
Yep.
And I finished the book within a few days of getting it. It was so fascinating
I don't
because
think
I
you
think,
slept for like a couple of nights.
God bless, right?
Yes.
And it wasn't just me. I think there was a
Super
huge,
fans.
obviously,
Absolutely.
wave of readers. And I think it's because there's been such a mystery behind what's been happening with Britney during the conservatorship. She's free now, as you know, and there was a whole thing of conservatorship abuse for a while, and court hearings, and fans showing up at the courtroom to try and free Britney, which ended up resulting in a positive, right? But this book is a tell-all. It exposes a lot of what happened from Britney at a very young age getting started, all the way to after the conservatorship. From the Mickey Mouse Club and how she, got to audition and how she had to lie and say she was of age to audition, but she was actually younger and wasn't, old enough.
Yeah.
But she had the talent and she got chosen, all the way down to dating Justin and what happened with that. And of course, to the latest and greatest, maybe not the greatest, but the latest, the conservatorship, but the greatest, the Vegas residency that did so
Yes.
well, but under what cost, right?
Yeah.
And so it was not easy to read.
Yeah.
It was very eye-opening, and it's interesting to see what can Hollywood do to a child actor, a child singer, a child performer from such a young age, because I believe these themes are recurring in a lot of child performers. For example, like Michael Jackson, there was something a little off, right? God rest his soul. I mean, iconic, legend, talent, that's just on a whole other level. But he had some mental, challenges that I think we're all aware about at one level or another. And I've seen it be a trend with child actors.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things that in the mindset of talking about new beginnings, I'm hoping that for someone so talented as she was, that gave us all such iconic music in the late '90s and the early 2000s, I wish her the best to come out of this and make the most of this newfound opportunity. It's been a tough ride for her. The ups and the downs have been extreme. And it is tough when you think there are people in your inner circle that you can trust, and that has not been the case. It's very, very difficult. But I really hope, because I'm an optimistic person, that I'm just going to hope that her artistry saves her in the long run, and
And I think it
hold
has
on to
saved
it.
her
Yeah.
in the past, right? I
Yeah,
think
it has.
her fans and her music literally saved her from the conservatorship.
Yep.
In the book, she talks about while she was in a facility being held against her will. Remember, 13 years she was held against her will in a conservatorship, acting like a robot working for the machine. But she shares in the book that nurses from the facility were showing her the Free Britney movement. I have goosebumps telling
Yeah, I
you
know.
right now.
So nice.
And, we're telling her, like, your fans want you out there. People do care for you. Is it heartbreaking that she felt sabotaged and betrayed by what she claims are her own family members?
Yeah.
That she can't trust her father, that she feels bitter about, other family members too? Absolutely. It's so heartbreaking. But it's so heartwarming to know that her true fans who love her music, because
Yeah.
of her music, saved her at the end of the
Absolutely.
night.
Your family, friends of the family you choose, right? So your family is defined by the people that genuinely care about your well-being. It's not necessarily, it's a combination of people, and it could be your fans, it could be your friends, it could be people that you don't know, but the people that just have a heart that wants to do the right thing. And they saw that right thing was her being free, and I wish positive
Yeah.
energy for her and artists in her situation that are going through, similar situations that need this kind of,
Yeah.
good vibes.
Absolutely. Ultimately, she kept the faith alive. She was very hopeful, and that gave her, at her lowest moment, that spark that she needed to keep moving
Yeah,
forward.
yeah.
And I love what you said that, we get to pick our families in terms of who do we let in, who's in our circle. Now, granted, blood is blood. I don't get to pick who
course.
my sister is or who
Yes.
my parents are, but I do get to, pick how I interact with them and how I hold them accountable. Now, for someone like Britney, when there were legal matters involved, she didn't get to pick. I think that's the difference, right? Until she was free. But I think something that you said earlier, which I hope is on Britney's resolutions list for the new year, is forgiveness. Not so she can perhaps get back involved with people that betrayed her,
Oh, no.
but so she can find peace
Yeah,
herself,
yeah.
and so that she can find that joy and that light that she shared with so many others. I mean, she shaped and impacted my life ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I grew up with Britney. I grew up in that 90s pop era.
yeah.
I've seen her perform live several times. She's so talented.
Music just moved
Revolutionary,
our lives. Yeah.
revolutionary. So to see a light like that dwindle is heartbreaking in its own, but knowing that this book was also a way of therapy for her, perhaps.
100%, right? It's a way to share your story with the world, and people get to know what was inside your heart and mind. Is a very therapeutic, cathartic feeling to be able to do, and each step should heal and move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I hope that's the best for her. And,
Yep.
there's been rumors, she's even posted and teased it, that we might get a second book with even more juice.
Okay.
We're going to really get the tea. And we'll see what happens if,
Yeah.
we get a second book. But what I think is the most important is that she's now living her life on her terms.
Yep.
And she's been able to share her story the way she wants to share it.
Absolutely. And, as human beings, we go through all these different evolutions, right? And life moments where we make good decisions, not so great decisions. And now that she's got this opportunity, and after so much struggle and hardship, she's now has this moment. I really want for the energy of healing, forgiveness, growth, and grace for her.
Yes, and I pray that she's able to surround herself with a group of people that really do love her and don't want to take advantage of her. And I think it comes with, fame. Someone's, out to have an alternative motive.
Yeah.
And it's really tough. And listen, you don't have to be as famous as Britney for someone to take advantage of you. I've been taken advantage of. You've been taken advantage of. Person on the street probably has been.
Yeah.
I think it's important to realize who you surround yourself with and who's lifting you up.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in that light,
yes,
we choose to move forward with positivity and brightness in December and into the new year.
Absolutely.
So, oh my God.
With that said, Kavita, this is the last episode of season 2.
Yep, it is.
For our listeners and viewers on YouTube, don't fret. For the next 4 weeks, we're going to be releasing our favorite picks.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yep.
So me and you are going to pick our favorite episodes.
4 episodes, yep.
And we're going to release them again. It's going to be a replay.
Yep.
If you've heard them, great. If you've missed them, you're going to want to tune back in, and we're going to put a special spin on it. So you're not going to want to miss that. Beyond that, we'll be back.
Yes.
We're going to be back on Tuesday, January 9th.
Fantastic.
And I'm so excited.
In the new year, in 2024.
Yes, to come back in January 2024 with you. New year, same us.
Yes.
New topics.
Yes.
New guests.
Yep.
And
renewed energy.
And we'll see what else is new with new surprises in store for our viewers and listeners.
Yes. Sounds great. A sun-kissed glow.
Yes, exactly. Kavita,
right.
I do want to say I'm so grateful for you.
Yes.
It brings me such joy to do this with you and to share this with our listeners each week. You're my sister, you're my friend, you're my rock.
Yes.
You're my bestie, not just my friend. And to our listeners, I'm so grateful that they take a moment to just hear us have a conversation and share what we love to do on and off the camera constantly.
Absolutely. You are the most integral part of not only my life, my family's life as well. Oh. We love you and have for so many years, and very grateful for that love, trust, friendship that we have, and the constant laughter and humor, banter.
Lots of laughter.
Yes. So thank you for that. Thank you for your
that.
love, friendship, and here's to a fantastic 2024.
Fantastic 2024.
And
to our listeners, thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the replays.
All of you as well.
Yes, the next few weeks.
Yes.
And we'll see you January 9th.
Yes. See you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on Instagram and TikTok. We love interacting. Also, the content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, which we love, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from Lights Camera Conversation or our individual authors, hosts, or guests. Nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. We always encourage you to do your research. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Lights Camera Conversation. The views expressed by speakers are their own, and their appearance on our program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a great day.